The challenge with digital advertising is that we're competing not against our opponents, we're competing for the attention of our audience. Your friends' baby photos, you're competing with your family member's birthday, right? You're competing with what happened last weekend. And so our content's gotta be good. It's gotta be engaging. And in 2020, that typically means it's either new information, some kind of policy that is really new and interesting. But increasingly what we're seeing that's really working is video and it's personal. So look at someone like Mayor Pete, right? And how successful his husband has been on social media. And the staff of an entire presidential campaign right now could be 20, 25 people. So getting content out there is very difficult. And campaigns, they need to look like a media publisher because that's who we're competing with. President Trump not only is breaking the mold in terms of everything else, but he's really breaking the mold in terms of the way he runs campaigns. He hired a digital marketer, Brad Parscale, who one, has no political experience to speak of, to be campaign manager. That is a huge sign that this is a digital first election, and no Democratic campaign yet has done something that dramatic. And we're seeing it backed up in the numbers. The Republicans, and Donald Trump specifically, are outspending the entire Democratic field almost 3-1 over the first few months of 2019. And one of the things that is working for him is the simplicity of his messages. He's got a message like build the wall or the deep state that actually works for his donors. It's a fundraising message. It's a fear-based persuasion message too. So it really does all of those three things, and it fits in a very simple Facebook ad. And so if Democrats want to compete this election, they're going to need to call the president out aggressively. And because the social platforms are increasingly pay-to-play platforms, they're going to need to launch a very aggressive effort to actually reach voters and to do it now in 2019. One of the really positive developments since 2016 and all the tumult and the Russian espionage and everything else that happened is that the social networks, particularly Facebook and Google, have really led on some transparency efforts. They're doing new restrictions to make it harder for foreign actors to even launch ad campaigns here in the States or U.S. actors to launch in other countries. They've also increased transparency so you can see what campaigns are doing. This is really about micro-targeting. If you look at time spent, even Facebook, which is getting a little bit older compared to something like Instagram or Snapchat, by and large, the people that use it most are still those younger demographics. So more money in total is being spent in 18 to 34. But really, that's not necessarily a good use of money. Voters on the whole skew older, they skew more educated, and unfortunately, they're skewing more white. Frankly, my mother has more time to spend on Facebook looking at photos of her grandson, right, than many people do mid-career while they're at the office. Today, digital really has the ability to reach everyone and to do it very cost efficiently. And this is one of the real advantages of digital marketing, is that we can really target just the individuals we think are likely to vote.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.